Welcome back. This is Mr. James again. This is reading lesson 4. Once again, as always, make sure you've got your book with you, you've got your packet with you, and you are ready to be successful today and continue your distance learning program. As it has been for the last couple of lessons, our enduring understanding is learners understand that explorers have had both positive and negative effects on societies. And our essential question is, how do readers quote accurately from a text when comparing and contrasting themes and topics? Remember, we're looking for those things when we go through your packets. And if we're not seeing either accurate paraphrasing or quoting accurately from the text, we'll be in contact with you and be able to support you on how to properly answer those text-dependent questions. Today's objective is I can determine the main idea and key details. I think, as I've said before in a previous video, main idea is like a one-sentence, very short summary of what you read. What did you mainly learn about in your own words from the section you read? And key details are going to be those details that support the main idea. They're going to back up what you said the main idea was. We're going to read pages 16 through 19 today in your text, so please go ahead and open up your text to page 16, and you can follow along in your own text as I read. This section is once again, just like the previous one, taking place in the Americas, and this is called The Search for El Dorado. Almost as soon as they arrived in the New World, Spanish conquistadors became obsessed with a legendary figure named El Dorado, which was Spanish for the Golden One. He was said to be a local ruler with almost limitless supplies of gold, and the conquistadors wanted to get their hands on it. Remember, the conquistadors are those conquerors who were all over the Americas at this time trying to conquer new lands. Expedition from Quito. In 1541, a group of 200 conquistadors, along with about 4,000 local people and a variety of horses and dogs, set off to hunt for El Dorado. They left the city of Quito in what is now Ecuador in February and headed toward the Andes Mountains. By December 1541, the explorers had crossed the Andes Mountains, and the expedition was rapidly running out of supplies. After 18 months, the explorers reached the Coca River. They had spent much of those months wandering around in the rainforest trying to find information about the location of El Dorado. The conquistadors were now getting very hungry, and they badly needed help. Their leader, Gonzalo Pizarro, decided that they should build a boat. The boat would travel downstream, and the men would collect food and come back. Pizarro chose an officer named Francisco de Orellana to captain the boat. On December 26, 1541, Orellana and 58 men set off to find help. Why did the conquistadors keep searching for El Dorado? What do you think? After leaving Quito, the conquistadors raided local villages for food, and they questioned the people living there to find out where El Dorado was. Might the villagers have realized that a good way to make the Spanish go away was to tell them El Dorado was far away from their villages? I would say that might be what I would think. A bunch of people came in to conquer my village, and they said, "Is El Dorado here?" I'd probably say, No, he's down the road. You should go check around about 100 miles from here, and hopefully they wouldn't come back and bother you anymore. Go ahead and turn your page. Come on, sometimes my program's a little slow. Try to fill this time. As you're thinking about these sections, you should be coming up with some thoughts here about, is this going to be triumphant, or is this going to be troubling? Downstream to the Napo. At first, things did not go well for Orellana and his men. They got so hungry searching for food that they ate the boiled soles of their shoes. Finally, they found a village and food, but instead of going back to the rest of the expedition as Pizarro had instructed, Orellana and his men continued downriver away from the rest. Why did Orellana continue downriver? Orellana claimed that his men refused to return to their companions, and the river's powerful flow made it impossible anyway. Was this true, or might Orellana and his men have been dreaming of finding El Dorado alone? I guess that's for you to find out. Although it would be really difficult to fight back upstream if the river was pulling you in the opposite direction. Amazon attack. Eventually, Orellana and his companions spilled out into a large river, which he named the Rio de Orellana. A fierce band of what they thought were women then attacked the explorers. The attackers were probably men from the Yagu people wearing grass skirts, but the story reminded people of a mythical group of female warriors from ancient Greece called Amazons. From then on, people started calling the river the Amazon, which is the name it still has today. The Atlantic Ocean. Eventually, Orellana and his men reached the Atlantic Ocean. They turned north up the coast, and by September 11th, 1542, they had reached the Spanish settlement on Cubagua Island, where they found safety. So, I guess our question is this triumph or trouble? Orellana was a brilliant explorer. He led his men on one of history's most amazing journeys. They endured starvation, constant attacks, and illness to reach safety. Or was it trouble? Orellana was a ruthless adventurer prepared to cheat and kill for wealth. He abandoned his companions on the Coca River and then blamed his own men for not turning back once they had found food. For the people of the Amazon, the arrival of the Spanish was a catastrophe. Many of those who were not killed died later of European diseases, which were introduced by the Spanish. So, you got to make a decision yourself. Was this triumph or trouble? Sounds pretty troubling to me, but I'll leave that one up to you. Hope this video found you in good health, and I look forward to talking to you. Have a great rest of the day.